Hi, I'm Miles Parker. I'm the Eclipse Agent Modeling Project lead, as well as the founder of Metascape. Metascape, we provide agent-based modeling consulting services, and we do agent-based modeling tools. And in this screencast, I'm going to describe the architecture for the agent modeling platform, and we'll start out looking at the agent execution framework and agent graphics frameworks. So let's go into the architecture itself. And as I mentioned, there are four main components here. There's the modeling framework, the execution framework, the graphics framework, and then this other piece called Escape. So we start out here. We'll start out with the agent execution framework. And what this provides is a set of tools that could actually be quite useful even outside of the agent modeling environment. It provides a way it provides a set of tools that at execution time within an IDE nicely wrap up execution of model behavior, organizing multiple models at once, dealing with life cycle changes in models, and so on in a really seamless way that's integrated with the overall Eclipse environment. So, for example, if you wanted to write some kind of, say, a linear equation solver or something, you could plug it, well, something that took a long time to compute. You could plug it into this environment and you could set up a job for it, and that job would easily be controllable, and using AGF you could do visualizations of it and so on. So these are the different pieces that AXF provides. So very importantly, it supports collaborations between agents and so on. So you can really define the high-level agent structure. And then again, as I said, life cycle, when a model stops, when it starts, when it iterates, all of these different pieces, and the reporting of those to UI in a consistent way, and so on. And then there are a bunch of extensions that come through, partly through the modeling environment, that handle things like model setting up parameters for models and all of those kinds of things. Okay, and so the next piece is the Agent Graphics Framework, and that may be even more interesting as a general tool, because what we're providing here is a high-level wrapping for a lot of the kinds of different tools that people use for visualization within Eclipse. And so, of course, that includes 2D, 3D charts and graphs. But the idea is that through very simple providers, say providing in a location, giving a location provider for your various model entities, and then say in the 3D case a shape provider and so on, and just plugging those into an extension, you should then be able to get nice 2D and 3D views without having to worry about any of the other intricacies of the 2D and say GEF 2D and so on, and 3D and so on. But this infrastructure is tightly woven in with all of the existing Eclipse bits. So the edit part, all the GEF edit part stuff is tightly integrated, and it'll be very familiar to anybody who's used any of those tools. And we're also working with supporting dynamic real-time charting using the BERT environment. Then we have Escape, and Escape's an example of how we use these different tools together. The really important thing about the design of AXF and AGF is that they're very lightweight, and they're focused on providing interfaces. So, for example, AXF itself does not have an agent-based model scheduling engine. It just provides an iEngine interface that then scheduling engines can adapt to, and Ascape does that, for example. Similarly with AGF, well, AGF provides some basic visualizations, not basic, but provides a set of visualizations, but people can extend it with whatever other visualizations they want. But the important thing here is that we can look at the runtime as sort of a bus here, and there are absolutely no dependencies at design time between AXF and AGF and AScape. AGF does have some AXF dependencies for reasons that should probably be pretty clear. So all of this stuff is adapted. The AScape, there's one plugin that's Escape AScape, which provides the glue between AScape and the AXF and AGF components, and then that all happens at runtime. So these different APIs don't have to know anything about each other. Then finally, as we'll see, the Agent Modeling Framework actually generates code into the Escape environment. So you can use AMF models to run in Escape. So let's look at how all of these different pieces fit together. It looks quite complex, but again, in the middle here we have just a set of adapters. And the idea here is that we can support a whole ecosystem of agent-based modeling tools. So, for example, we can plug in some validation and verification tools from AMFX. We've been talking to some folks at Mason about they've got a really neat agent-based modeling tool that's focused on high performance. And so they could take their scheduler in, implement the iEngine interface and so on, and then provide that, or they could do the visualization parts or whatever. But the Meme is a tool by a European group that has really, really amazing capabilities for model parameterization. So imagine that you wanted to take a model that you developed in Mason and then do extensive parameterization based on that. Well, you could do that, and the two different pieces wouldn't have to know anything about each other beforehand. You just need to provide the glue to get into the proper adapters into the AXF and AGF, implement the AGF and AXF providers as appropriate, and adapt that, and you'd be ready to go. So that's the idea, to be able to support a whole ecosystem and to be open to commercial and other open source efforts like Repast and AnyLogic and so on to participate in this environment. And so that's it for this part. In the next part, we're going to discuss the Agent Modeling Framework.